Whoops. Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well on this Friday and staying safe out there because, man, has it been a very busy morning here in the weather lab and a very busy morning in terms of that winter weather in Northwest Arkansas. And really, this event kind of evolved a little bit earlier than we anticipated. And of course, that's caused some pretty big time impacts on those roadways, especially along I-49. It's been a mess all morning long. Thankfully, we're starting to see the tail end of the system right now. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at how he including Mega Doppler once again to give you the latest details on when exactly the snowfall is going to end. First of all, let's take a look right now at our Rogers Pinnacle Parkway Towers cam. I mean, look at that. We've got a winter wonderland right now there. Thankfully, the snowfall rates are starting to get a little bit less heavy at this time. That's because that precipitation is starting to push through Northwest Arkansas. We're starting to see a lot of dry air on the backside of the system. So we are expecting the snow to end within, I would say, the next 30 minutes to an hour or so in Northwest Arkansas. And you're going to see that reflected here on how he including Mega Doppler. Look at all that precipitation that's beginning to surge off to the east of the area. In fact, starting to see very little snowfall near the Siloam Springs area right now, but quite a few reports of pretty big-time snowfall totals, truth be told, especially for a system like this with temperatures above freezing. We're still able to pull off 1 to 3 inches of snow. I mean, that's pretty big, especially here in our weather coverage area for an event like this. So it looks like we had a report of 3 inches of snow just to the east of Bentonville near Montagnais. Social media report with a video of a solid 3 inches of snow near the Beaver Lake area, which definitely makes sense. Fayetteville, quite a few varying reports here. 1.1 inches of snow reported in 2 miles north of Fayetteville. Had another social media report of about 2 inches of snow in East Fayetteville, which makes sense there, higher terrain. And then 2.5 inches of snow near the Farmington area. So we'll continue to verify this as we go throughout the next several days. Now, really where most of the impacts have been occurring has been in the higher elevation of Northwest Arkansas in the Boston Mountains. And we expected this to happen, but there is a mess going on right now, folks, along Interstate 49. We're going to show you that in just a few moments. 3 inches of snow reported near Strickler. I know we had a viewer from yesterday that lives near the Strickler area, so they got a pretty good amount of snow there in Strickler, and about 1 to 2 inches of snow in portions of the River Valley near Greenwood. I wonder if Zachary Hall, one of our storm spotters, came in with a report there near Greenwood. So 2 inches of snow reported there, 1 inch of snow in Sebastian County near Jerry. What is that? I think it's Jenny Lynn Road right there along Interstate 540. Inch of snow, of course, in eastern Sebastian County, and another inch of snow reported in Sequoia County. So that's what we're looking at right now in terms of official snowfall totals. Again, the backside of the system is starting to move through Northwest Arkansas, but we've got to get to the latest traffic information because we have a lot of accidents to talk about this morning. First of all, we're going to go back to WSI here. So it looks like the accident that was occurring along Interstate 49 in the southbound lane near Bellevue Road and Whitaker Parkway has since been cleared. So that's certainly a good sign there. But folks, if you're driving through the Boston Mountains right now along Interstate 49, it is a mess. Look at all these accidents that have occurred. We've got one there in the northbound lane. That occurred at 7 o'clock. We have another one just south there at 7:28. And then yet another one perhaps inside the Bobby Hopper Tunnel. I think that says a disabled and stalled vehicle. That's right where the Bobby Hopper Tunnel is. And that occurred right at 8 o'clock. But Let's take a look at this camera right now. I mean, look at this gridlock traffic right now in the northbound lane of Interstate 49 near the Bobby Hopper Tunnel. And the snow is still coming down, hot and heavy right now in this area. And I've been getting multiple reports of folks stuck here for the last couple of hours. Traffic's just not moved at all. And the problem with this section of the interstate is that it's in that higher elevation area. So we looked at that camera that was near Bellevue Road just a few moments ago in Rogers, and you look at the roadways, they're wet, yes, and there's maybe some slick spots in the bridges and overpasses, but really the impacts are starting to wind down in those areas, in the lower lying areas of Northwest Arkansas. But you get into that higher train, and we looked at that with the Winter Storm Severity Index earlier on in the morning hours, which factors in that elevation, and that's where the impacts are a little bit more significant. And that's what we're seeing right now with this particular accident at this time. We're not only seeing slick spots in the bridges and overpasses, we're also seeing slick spots on the interstates and highways themselves past those. And so when you get these changes in elevation, like we're seeing here, you rack up the snowfall totals a little bit quicker, and that's how you get a complete nightmare traffic situation right now. Again, if you have any plans to take I-49 northbound, I would say hold off on those for the next couple of hours because the alternate routes are not going to be much better. They're going to be covered with snow, perhaps even more snow and less treatment on those roads. So if you're having any plans to do that from Fort Smith, I would just pass on that for the next couple of hours. I think things will be fine later on this afternoon, but this is really the most pressing matter right now in terms of that traffic situation here in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. But that's not the last of the accidents. We have another one that's near the Bella Vista intersection. That one occurred at around 7:21. We got an update on it at 7:58. Let's take a closer look at that. So, yeah, it looks like we got first responders still on scene right now there. You can see where that accident occurred. But again, I just talked about the difference in elevation, right? And this is a lower lying area in Northwest Arkansas and Bella Vista. And look at that. The roadways are mostly clear at this time. Now, we did have that accident earlier when they were not clear, but we're already starting to see improvements in the travel situation north of Fayetteville. Basically, from Fayetteville north, that's where traffic is starting to improve at this time in terms of those travel conditions. But again, we've got a multiple vehicle accident. It appears there in the northbound lane of Interstate 49 near that Bella Vista intersection. If you guys have any questions, by the way, please feel free to ask them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer any concerns that you guys have with the system, anything you need to know. But this is our main focus right now. I know some folks may be wondering, hey, what's going to go on next week? What's our next system that's coming in? But for now, we are focusing on what's going on today because that's what we have the most details for. And we'll have more time to talk about that later on this evening into tonight. But right now, we still have this evolving situation and just want to give the latest traffic information as well as what we're looking at here on radar and everything. So it looks like we got a question in from Emily. Road safe to drive in Bentonville. So Emily, let's take a look at that right now because we can actually look at the current road conditions from iDrive Arkansas. By the way, you guys will have access to this as well. If you go to iDriveArkansas.com, you'll be able to look at the latest traffic information. And if you click on this little snowflake here and you click on primary highways and local roads, you're going to be able to see the winter weather conditions that are currently happening. So, Emily, you were asking about that in the Bentonville area. It looks like right now we just kind of have a slushy mess at this time, which can still cause some problems, but that's actually the best case scenario right now. So I feel like roads are going to be clear within the next hour or so, Emily, and I think you're going to be good to go in the Bentonville area. Again, that higher train of Northwest Arkansas, that's where we're seeing the snow-covered roads. That's where you're seeing that blue right now on iDrive Arkansas. And that's why you're also seeing it right here with that stretch of accidents in the Bobby Hopper Tunnel area. But again, near downtown Fayetteville itself, near this area, it looks like things are starting to clear off. In fact, we have mostly clear roads going on near the Rogers area at this time. Daisy asking, when is the system going to move out? Well, Daisy, I got some good news for you. It looks like this system's going to be moving out within the next hour or so, at least for the I-49 corridor. Now, if you live in Jasper, Madison, Newton County, Boone County, Harrison, you still got a little ways to go through this. Really, the event's just getting going in those locations. I will be very interested to see what the snowfall totals are there. But you can see if you live along I-49, a little bit farther south towards Fort Smith, this system is almost out of the area. So it's going to be moving out completely by lunchtime here in our weather coverage area. But for Northwest Arkansas, along I-49, Fayetteville, Bentonville, Rogers, it's going to be out by the time we get to about 9 o'clock. Good question right there from you, Daisy. Jamie, how about Fayetteville main roads? Very similar deal right now, Jamie, to Northwest Arkansas. If we go back to iDrive Arkansas here, we can kind of zoom in a little bit closer. Now, southern Fayetteville, once you get towards West Fork and Greenland and everything, it's a little bit of a different story. But Fayetteville itself is starting to clear off a little bit. In fact, let's take a look at the Graduate Hotel WeatherBug Network camera. Let's look at these back roads here. So still a little bit of snow showing up there, Jamie, as you can see, but it's starting to clear off quite a bit. Look at that wind, though. It's whipping a little bit there over that Graduate Hotel camera. So looks like the roads are starting to clear off a little bit again. Once all this snow is completely out of northwest Arkansas, this is going to melt very, very quickly. In fact, I'd be very surprised if we saw any snow on the ground when you wake up early tomorrow morning. And that's not just on the roadways, that's on the grassy surfaces as well. That's how quickly all the snow is going to be melting. I really love iDrive Arkansas as well. It's a great resource to have. It really, really helps us when we have incidents like this. I have an appointment at 1 p.m. in Ozark. Do you think I'm going to be good to go on that? Kate, I think you're going to be good to go. I think Ozark's going to be fine at 1 o'clock p.m. I think the roadways are going to be clear at that point. They still have some wet spots, especially on those bridges and overpasses, but I don't think you need to cancel your appointment. I think you're going to be good to go there. What was the variable that seemed to bring quite a bit more snow than originally expected? That's a good question, Ryan. And the reason why we are seeing more snowfall in our area compared to what we previously thought is not because the system came in earlier, because really, this system, it pretty much verified in terms of the evolution of everything and how everything went down. But the main factor at play, Ryan, was really the convective banding, those heavier bands of snowfall. And I really had a hunch early this morning that would potentially be the case. When I was looking at the radar out west in Tulsa, I saw even some lightning strikes going on with this. Now, we didn't see thunder snow here in northwest Arkansas, obviously, but that convective banding, those heavier bouts of snow, were able to make their way into northwest Arkansas. And even though temperatures were above freezing in a lot of locations for the majority of this event, we still ended up getting a little bit more snow than expected because of that convective banding and because of those heavy snowfall rates. It's able to overcome temperatures above freezing, and it allows us to see a little bit snow than maybe what the models are showing, and maybe even what we anticipated as well. So, looking back on this event, definitely happy that it's not sticking around for a long time. Because if this event wasn't impacted by dry air, we'd be talking about a pretty significant winter storm here in northwest Arkansas. But thankfully, it's a quick bout of snow. It's in and out of our area very quickly. It causes problem on the roadways while it's snowing. But once that snow stops, boom, we're right back to business again, and things are looking a whole lot better. But good question, Ryan. Really, my final answer on that, convective banding wins again. Those heavier bouts of snow really just help to enhance those snowfall rates, and it really helps systems like this overproduce. Got 3 inches up in the mountains in Winslow, and Kristen, I am not surprised to hear that report. In fact, let's go back to iDrive Arkansas, because I just want to keep it on this camera right now in Winslow. That's really the big, impactful weather story right now in our coverage area. We've got just traffic at a standstill right now. I'm going to go back to WSI full here so you guys can see that. Let me look at it right now. It's just a mess, and that's near the Winslow area right there as well. So definitely seeing not only slick spots on the bridges and overpasses, but also slick spots on the roads in general. And it looks like the southbound lane has stopped as well. So maybe that stalled vehicle in the tunnel is in the southbound lanes. The southbound and northbound lanes, you don't want to get along I-49 near the Bobby Hopper Tunnel. That is for sure right now. Jason's asking for some Hot Springs road conditions. We can certainly look at that very quickly here, Jason. Let's zoom out here, and here's our iDrive Arkansas map, and we jog a little bit farther south. So higher terrain of western Garland County, starting to see some snow-covered roads, Jason. But it looks like Hot Springs itself, and I used to live in Hot Springs, so it's no surprise that this is occurring. But right around the Lake Hamilton area and Rockwell, this area, very low in elevation, and not seeing any impacts at this time for winter precipitation. So we'll keep watching it very closely for you there, Jason. But Hot Springs looks like not a whole lot of activity going on there in terms of winter weather on the roadways. I'm going to jog back here to northwest Arkansas. We're going to go back to that camera near Winslow. We're going to keep it there for the next few moments. Now, we do have Good Day NWA. That's going to be starting within the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. So we'll have to wrap up this weather live stream within that time frame. But if you guys have any other questions or comments or maybe even reports of what's going on in your area, feel free to comment those, and we'll look at those. John asking, what do you think the road conditions might be tomorrow? John, I think they're going to be great. tomorrow. One thing I was talking about with the weather team as well yesterday is what's the threat of refreezing? No threat of refreezing because the temperatures are going to be too warm tonight. Usually when you're looking at refreezing on the roadways, you get to around 28 degrees or lower. We're not even going to get close to that point. We're going to have abundant cloud cover, maybe some sprinkles or isolated flurries overnight tonight, but no impacts on the roadways. I think things are going to be A-okay tomorrow. Now, one thing you need to keep an eye on, John, I will say this. I almost forgot to mention this. It's been such a busy morning, and I've been talking nonstop for the last 4 hours. But tomorrow morning, do be aware that there will be some patchy fog. Will not be freezing fog. I don't think temperatures are just going to be a little bit above freezing or right at freezing. So I don't think it's going to be freezing fog, but we could have some dense fog in northwest Arkansas as we move throughout the morning hours tomorrow. So good question, and definitely do not be concerned about those road conditions tomorrow. They'll be clear later today, and you're exactly right, Jesse. Now we may still have some wet roadways, but in terms of impacts from slush or ice or snow, that's not going to be the case later on this afternoon into the evening hours. We're going to go back and forth here between Mega Doppler. I'm going to keep an eye on the comments. Of course, if you got a comment, got a question, got a concern, be sure to post that in right now because we'll have to wrap this up within the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. We still got to have a Good Day NWA, which we'll be recording very, very soon. But let's take a look at Mega Doppler once again. Again, look at the backside of the system starting to move through northwest Arkansas right now. So certainly a positive sign there. We'll take this all day long. We want this to clear out as quickly as possible. For eastern portions of our weather coverage area, we're still going to be talking about some heavy snow throughout the next couple of hours or so. But again, that should be wrapping up by lunchtime over our entire weather coverage area. So that is certainly good news right there, and we will take that all day long for sure. I'm going to try to pull up some multiple panel views of the cameras here in just a minute. So just give me a few moments here. I'm just trying to pull that up right now on our camera station that we have here in the studio. I really like this camera station that we have here because we can show multiple panels, multiple views, and it's really, really nice. So just stand by on that for just a minute. I'm going to look at some more comments while I'm getting that pulled up. Absolutely, Ellen. Thank you for joining in today, and hope everything is well with you, and hope everything's going good. And again, this afternoon is looking pretty good for all of us here in northwest Arkansas in terms of those road conditions. Jesse's reporting a little more than 2 inches in northeastern Benton County. And Jesse, I'll tell you this right now. That's a little bit more snow than I thought we would see with this system. So certainly, a little bit surprised that we got this much snow, not just in one specific location, because I was expecting that to happen. I did expect some convective banding to occur, right? Bouts of heavy snow. But the fact that a wide area got 1 to 3 inches of snow, that's a little bit more surprising to me with this particular event. Thankfully, it's going to melt quickly, so we'll take that all day long later on this afternoon. Daniel asking the $1 million question. What does the weather look like for next Tuesday? Daniel, I'll tell you this right now. We've got a lot of things to figure out with that system next Tuesday. I will say this. It is one of those stretches of weather that you just are going to remember for a while. And whether that be from heavy rainfall, whether that be from the cold Arctic air that we're about to see in northwest Arkansas, because the latter half of next week, oh my goodness, is it looking cold in a lot of locations in northwest Arkansas on the River Valley. We're going to be talking about that over the weekend. We're going to be talking about that over the early part of next week. But Daniel, I just got to tell you this. You need to be preparing next week for the potential for impacts, whether that be from heavy rainfall or from winter weather, because it's going to be cutting it very close in terms of how much winter weather potential we're going to see here in northwest Arkansas on the River Valley as we go into next Tuesday. Very good question. Yes. I'm sure the evening crew is going to have more on that coming up on the shows starting at 5 o'clock on KNWA. We'll also have Fox 24 News starting at 5:30 as well. But very good question, and we're gonna keep you posted on that. We're gonna get you all the latest details there. I'm not a winter fan, but I do love the snow. I'll take some heavy snow right now. Jesse, you know what? I'm not a winter fan either. As I've gotten older, I've kind of soured on it a little bit. But yeah, it's always cool to see that first winter event of the year. And hopefully everything goes okay with that accident situation. Of course, we're going to continue to keep a close eye on that, especially near the Winslow area. Snowing pretty hard right now in northeast Benton County, but just about to wrap up, Jesse. I know Benton County right now getting the last of that snowfall. Higher train of NWA also seeing the snow at this time, but things are starting to wrap up with that event in far western portions of our weather coverage area. Kristen sent a pic in on Messenger with the tape measure, so you measured up the snow. Cannot wait to see that. If you guys want to send in some pictures, send them in to weather@knwa.com. We're going to show them on the shows this evening, starting on KNWA News at 5, as well as Fox 24 News at 5:30. Always love seeing the pictures of the snowfall and appreciate you guys sending in those reports. Austin saying hi from Little Rock. Hey there, Austin. Hope you're doing well in Little Rock. Let's kind of jog a little bit farther south of Little Rock. Are you guys getting any snow down there? I'm interested to see if a few snowflakes are flying. Obviously, probably not sticking to the ground right now, but hope you're doing well in Little Rock and hope you have a fantastic weekend there as well. All right, folks, I think I got to wrap this up because I know Good Day NWA is about to start recording, but just to kind of recap everything again, still watching that accident very closely along Interstate 49. Avoid travel for the next couple of hours near the Bobby Hopper Tunnel as you head northbound. Avoid travel at all costs there because it looks like there's multiple accidents there, and I just don't think you should travel along there. In terms of next week, I know there's people wondering about next week. Again, we're going to have more details on that later on this evening. We're going to talk about it more over the weekend. We're going to be able to figure out the track of that system as well as what precipitation type we're going to see with that system. So just stand by there. We're going to give you more details on next week as we get closer to the event. I promise you that. A couple more things, and then I'm going to wrap it up here. Do we need to go to the store to get some milk and bread for next Tuesday? Daniel, I'm not going to bring out the milk and bread meter quite yet, but just stand by on that. Don't go yet, right? Because we don't want that milk to go sour. We don't want that bread to grow some mold, right? But stand by there, and I'll tell you if you need to make a milk and bread stop by the early part of next Monday. I'm going to have all the latest details on that once we get back here in studio. And of course, Zach, Peyton, Dan will be back in the early part of next week. So we're going to have the whole weather team here to keep you posted as we move throughout the weekend as well. All right, got to wrap it up. I'm pushing it right now in terms of time. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Friday. Stay safe out there. Again, send in those photos to the Weather Authority app or weather@knwa.com. We'll show those on the evening shows today. God bless everybody and have a fabulous rest of your Friday and have a great weekend as well.